Check, check. Good morning, everyone. Jay Smith here, product specialist and chief energy officer at Logistics. We're a Detroit-based construction tech company, and we do a lot of really awesome things. Things that doesn't really help us, does it? Hang on, guys. I had to rearrange some of my setup here, so let me make sure we're good. Check. All right, very nice. See if I can. What is going on, everyone? Jay Smith here, product specialist and chief energy officer at Logistics. We are a Detroit-based construction tech company, and we are revolutionizing the way construction companies do business. Excuse me, first thing in the morning here. My mind's here, my throat's still in bed. That sounded bad, but like dry throat when you first wake up. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. So I'm starting a new YouTube channel, and today we're going to be covering the best or top three questions to be asking at a networking event. So when I position this conversation, I'm more speaking to sales professionals or people that are actively trying to grow their book of business, obviously their network. But these three questions I'm going to cover today are specifically by design to be asked in order to get truth and clarity from the prospect you're speaking to either continue the conversation at a later time, because obviously there's a lot of people at networking events, so you want to shake hands with more than just the person you're currently talking with. So get truth and clarity on whether that conversation should move forward at a later time. Or you want to get clarity on maybe there's some, a possible connection with somebody in your network that would be better suited than yourself and your company. So, all right, a little background here. First off, I want to recap Logistics. Again, we're a Detroit-based construction tech company, and we are revolutionizing the way construction companies do business, the way we track the movement of material, the way we track production, and also time. Right? Time is a very hot commodity nowadays, and we certainly don't have enough of it. But specifically in the construction space, it's very important that we're measuring material and productivity. Of course, time is involved with that. So we have a software, we have an app that helps construction companies essentially capitalize on their material and their productivity, more data points, more insights, more visibility, more chain of custody and accountability into civil construction or heavy construction projects. The software is phenomenal. So learn more at livegistics.com, livegistics.com. All right, guys, again, my name is Jay Smith. I'm a product specialist, chief energy officer here at Logistics. And for the last 15 years, I've been working with startups. I have several businesses of my own. And, at the end of the day, I'm a salesperson. So I like to, first of all, I like money. I like bringing money into an organization, and I like getting paid. So I love sales. You get paid what you're worth. Not many professions out there, especially nowadays, where you're paid the value you bring it into an organization. I love sales, and I know sales has this sometimes negative tone attached to it. And honestly, it's a generational thing. Things are changing, obviously, with access to the internet and YouTube University, sales and how people handle themselves or personal presence in dialogue, regardless of the profession that you're in, or regardless of the vertical you're in. Sales is becoming a better, term. It's not so dirty and ugly and nasty when you think of back in the day. Come on down to the car lot, got the best deal in town. Blah, blah, it's not sales, right? So before you can even think about bringing money into an organization, you got to have a network. You got to have a funnel, a pipeline of prospects, right? I often preach this. Excuse me. I often preach about this. So you hear or you see all these commercials, you see all these billboards, lawyers, doctors, plumbers, etc., right? Real estate agents, and you ask them what they do, and the first thing is they tell you, "Well, I'm a real estate agent," and then maybe this is somebody that's just started off in the industry, very little experience, doesn't have a Rolodex or a book of business yet, and then they tell you they're a real estate agent and all these other great things, which is probably a true case, but at the end of the day, you are not a real estate agent. You are a professional lead generator, and because if you don't have any leads, if you don't have a book of business, you don't have a network, you are not a real estate agent, you are not a doctor, you are not a plumber, so you are a professional lead generator. All right. I hope that makes sense, and it's very important. I'm not diminishing the idea that you're a real estate agent. What I'm saying to you is you are not a real estate agent if you do not have leads. You are not a lawyer if you do not have leads. You are not a doctor if you do not have leads. All right, so be very mindful of that. So, one activity that can essentially help build your network and start getting some people into your pipeline is networking events. Right, networking events they're fun. They have a purpose in this world. First off, I'm a huge believer in getting in a room, shaking hands with people. I just believe there is no better way to do business than word of mouth and human to human interaction. But at networking events, you see all these different spectrums. And what I mean by that is you have the people that show up for the free booze. You have the people that want to meet everyone, shake everyone's hand, learn everything about them. And all those are great. Trust me, I've been at an event for the free booze. I've been the person where all I want to do is just connect with as many people as possible, regardless, as in not having a very specific purpose to be there. And again, that purpose could just be from a social aspect, or you're there because you know that the C-level executive sometimes attends these events, or maybe there's some network partners involved, or maybe there's a prospect that you've been eyeing for a minute, right? And so these top three questions, you guys, these things have absolutely been an absolute game changer when it comes to getting truth and clarity on whether I should advance the conversation or maybe we should shake hands, part ways. And when I bring up these questions, they're in order, they're by design, and so let's just hop into this. So first question. Okay, well actually, wait, let me back up here a little bit. You ever been to the networking event and you meet somebody and they're, how are you? How's your day? How about the Detroit Lions? Which, I mean, I'm a diehard Detroit Lions fan till the day I die. But how's the Lions? How's the weather? Like, first off, you probably sound like an asshole. And what I mean by that is you're probably just asking questions to check a box, to check things off the list. You think you're building bonding rapport. You think that these are the questions people want to be asked, and that's great, and it may work in some situations, but those questions are like just they're disingenuous, right? And what I mean by that, you guys, it's ever somebody ever ask you like how are you or how's your day going, and the way they ask you, they're just like trying to put in a filler because they have a problem with silence, or whatever the case may be, right? Like it just comes off in disingenuine. The reality is most people that they ask you how your day is, they do not care. And that doesn't mean the person asking you is a dick or anything like that. It literally just means they just don't care. They're checking a box. They're like, oh, this is just what other humans ask other humans. And so I do not believe in that. I actually am not a fan of small talk. I would rather have silence or having an intriguing intellectual conversation. So, with that being said, the first question: how did you get into the business? The business, the industry, how did you get into your position? Something along those lines. And spoiler alert, it's always a funny story. All right. 9 out of 10 times, the first thing out of somebody else's mouth is going to be, well, hey, it's a funny story. And it probably is a funny story. I've heard some that are not funny, but sometimes they are funny, right? So when you ask that question, be purposeful in your active listening. And you guys, this first question: how did you get into the business? How did you get into uh, the industry? They're going to tell you, okay. And so the reason why I like this question is then most people right after this type of question is going to be like, well, how long have you been at this company or been doing X, Y, and Z? And I do not like this question because sometimes maybe there's somebody brand new into an organization, but maybe they have years of experience. And then I ask them a question like, well, how long you been with the company? And I say 3 months. The first thing out of my mind as I'm asking how long have you been there, right? And then they say 3 months. I automatically, well, you don't really have any pull or uh, you're not important or whatever the case may be, and then the other person that's just responded to you is going to pick up on that. I say not okay, okay, not okay. So you've just taken away their okayness. All right, so you've made them feel like they're less worthy. You made them feel insecure, which um, I'm not saying you need to be aware of everyone's feelings because everyone nowadays is extremely. I mean, we're not every day, not right now, but like humans are emotional creatures. Like we're beings of emotion. But I feel like nowadays there is a high level of sensitivities around hurting people's feelings and all that. So I'm not going down that path. I'm simply saying don't take their okayness away, right? Like don't make them feel less than because then they're gonna put this wall up, and especially if it's somebody that you've been prospecting or you've been wanting to chat with, do not ask them how long they've been with the company. All right. So first question, again, recap here is how did you get into the business? How did you get into the industry? How did you get involved in your position? What this does is it gives them a little, gives you an insight, gives you some background on this individual. They may point things out like about their past experiences, their lives, and you might be able to kind of go down that path and pick their brain at a later time. Once they ask that question, this question number two is what is something new, exciting that you're working on? What's a new project that you're working on? What's a new, I don't know, maybe they're a scientist. What's a new experiment? Maybe they're in the construction space. Hey, what type of new, remediation project are you working on? What type of new civil project? Are you guys doing anything X, Y, and Z, right? So, second question, what's something new and exciting that you're working on? All right, ask these in order. This is very important. How'd you get into the business? What's something new and exciting you're working on? Now, question number three. How do you see that playing out over the next 3 to 5 years? Right? So they told you how they got into the industry. They told you something new and excited that they're excited about, they're happy about, and now you want to know, hey, how do you obviously you're working on this project for a reason, but how do you see it playing out over the next couple of years, right? Or this question may go down the path of how do you they may take it as how do you see your industry, your position kind of evolving, or the industry outlook over the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, it could go a couple of different ways. Feel free to keep it in alignment with what you're trying to accomplish, or maybe when they gonna kind of go down a different path than where they were headed, just move and groove with it, you guys. Um, right here, the reason why I'm asking this question is so I'm in the construction industry. I'm chatting with somebody at a networking event that's in the construction space. I've asked them how they got into the business. I've now asked them the second question, what's something new and exciting that you're working on? And they may tell me about a large, I don't know, Ford Motor Company project down south. They're building, the new e-battery plants, and he's really excited about working. He or she is really excited about working on that project. And then hey, how do you see that project playing over the next 3 to 5 years, right? And they're like, well, the project's going to take about 2.5, 3 years, and X, Y, and Z. And so now, right, like in my head, I'm like, wow, I really want to stay connected with this person. There may not be any immediate, advantage as the salesperson, but this could be a long-term relationship. So I see value in wanting to connect with this individual outside of this networking event, right? And again, you guys, when you're at a networking event, do your due diligence. Make sure you're doing a little bit of research beforehand. If it's a LinkedIn event or a Facebook event or a what is it? Bright event, Eventbrite. Um, Sometimes they allow you to have access to the network beforehand. Meetup is an app that I've used many times in the past. I'm in a different place professionally, so I don't use that stuff anymore. But do your research, do your due diligence, because after I'm having this conversation with this other construction guy or woman, um, I'm like, hey, it's been great talking to you. Do you mind if I make a suggestion, right? And I'm one of those people where I've learned from a past mentor, I'm not a huge fan of bringing business cards to a networking event because I know if there is value in moving forward in conversation, I'm gonna get your information. I might even get a meeting on the books on the calendar scheduled right there in person, so I don't have to think about it anymore, right? So be cognitive of the time you're spending. There's probably other people in the room you want to shake hands with. Same with that other person, right? So it's more of a respect both ways. Um, so get truth and clarity. Get absolute clear outcomes, next steps. Maybe you're a connector like I am. I genuinely like love helping other people grow businesses, which is why I think I love being in the whole startup arena. It's fascinating to me. It's a lot of fun. It's almost like a rush. There's a lot on the line, and so, um, but yeah. So get truth and clarity on that. Get next steps, and then shake hands, part ways, go find another potential prospect, and repeat the process. You guys, I literally to this day, I will be in an in-person meeting at a networking event. I'll be in the office. I still use those three questions. Like I love those questions. They work, right? Instead of the typical, how are you? What do you do for a living? All that stuff. Like, um, it's overused. I don't like it. It's fine if you do, and if it works, great. And I bet there are people successful that talk often about the weather and a sports team. Um, but I choose to take a different path. So again, just to recap, the three best questions to ask at a networking event. Question number one is, how did you get into the industry? Question two is, tell me a project or tell me something you're working on that you're excited about. And number three, how do you see that playing out over the next 3 to 5 years? Ask those three questions in that order and watch the magic unfold. Also, during these three questions, you guys, you're building a very credible binding and rapport, which is super important, very exciting. So, yeah, you guys, I appreciate this. This is a new YouTube channel. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I'm really excited about what we're doing at Logistics. I think YouTube is a great way to enhance some areas of opportunity, some qualities. Like, for instance, I love public speaking. It's been a while since I've done it, so I figured, hey, let's get on YouTube here and let's start practicing, and maybe you'll share something of value to somebody. So, again, you guys, my name is Jay Smith. I'm product specialist and chief energy officer at Logistics. We are a Detroit-based construction tech company. We're revolutionizing the way construction companies do business, where when it comes to managing material productivity and time. You can learn more about us at livegistics.com. My email and the website is in the bio. And you guys, please do me a favor. Please subscribe. This is a brand new channel. Please like, subscribe, comment. I don't care what you say, whatever you want in the comments. But if there is something that comes to mind where you think you would like to get a suggestion on or teach me something, please do so. I'm a student. I'm a lifelong learner. You guys, there are always things to improve, things to do better. But other than that, until next time, you guys have a great Tuesday. Yes, have a great Tuesday.